Hello, so this is another reading from my book Pieces, 52 short stories about being human. Today's chapter 23, Evolution. Let's just start with the second paragraph and see where it takes us. So let's assume for just a moment that life is what it is. I'm a human being, I have a body and mind. When I die, that is the end. There is no God, no higher consciousness, no guiding force. There are just laws of physics. This is not some new holy truth, merely an assumption to help me illustrate my point. But please entertain me. I believe we have the power to create our own reality. Our energy attracts more of the same, and together we have a collective consciousness, a hive mind that evolves humanity as a whole. Perhaps that collective consciousness is what we call God. Like a virus, humanity evolves as a species all over the planet simultaneously, albeit with some minor variations. Like a flu virus, we are constantly upgrading, modifying, and finding new ways to survive. There might be some individuals who become an exception to the rule of the mass, but they don't tend to have enough numbers to change the direction of the human evolution. It is therefore the critical mass that has the responsibility to be awake enough and aware enough to direct our evolution consciously for the better, for a higher purpose. Yes, what if there is no given purpose? What if we can choose a purpose or choose to have none? Is there a purpose to a life of an animal somewhere in a jungle? Well, there is one: to keep the ecosystem in balance. We as humanity are part of that. We are a parasite on this planet, and we have to find a balanced symbiosis before we kill the host. We must find a positive purpose for humanity so that enough people can get behind it to make it happen. I'd say the survival of the planet and its amazing resources as we know it might be a good cause to strive for. Our lives depend on it. So this one, it's quite a short chapter actually, there's not much left. You've kind of heard most of the chapter really. It's just my take on evolution, I think. Just kind of voicing what's going in my mind, how I look at it, and why it's important sharing our personal stories and creating a community, like little pockets of communities, around our cities and countries, but also as a whole, as a humanity. Because as I said in the chapter, I think it's really important to our survival. I think when we have the understanding of humanity as a whole body, as a system, ecosystem in its own right, and that if you look at humanity as one body, and each person is a cell, that's quite good metaphor for, I think, how it all works. And in the body as well, you have different cells doing different things, but working together to keep the body going and trying to achieve homeostasis, which is the ideal state of the body. But of course, there are cells that can go rogue, cells that go against the body, and then we need help to do something with that. But the body itself has amazing ability to heal itself, and I think that works on a bigger scale too. I think as humanity we still have time, yes, there is a bit of a cancer going on perhaps, but we still can turn it around and save ourselves and save the whole humanity as it is, and heal ourselves. But it will take concerted effort. We need to come together and start doing things together, come with solutions that are sustainable. And fortunately things are starting to shift around the world, and I think we are hitting that critical mass that I wrote about, that when enough people thinks in the same way, or they follow the same purpose, it does shift things, because it's just the kind of power of it is so big that the rest cannot resist. Things start shifting. sometimes a bit slower than we'd like, but it's shifting, and it is happening. And I think our biggest influence is in the big companies. And if you work for some big company, actually warming your way in from the inside and influencing things from the inside can be incredibly powerful. And we can see when the really, the 1%, when they kind of get on our side, we gain enormous power to actually change things for the better. So I don't know if you've read about it. Billionaire who wants to buy big chunks of the planet and turn them into reservations, to save, nature and keep it safe from destruction. Bigger companies, even like McDonald's, are vouching to get rid of plastic. Sainsbury's, I think, as well, they're going to go plastic free as much as possible. Banning on straws and all that kind of. So they're making us pay for plastic bags, and hopefully they will just go eventually. We don't really need them. So all of this, if we're trying to find solution as best as we can, and hopefully make it, some of these solutions, if they can become mainstream enough to become cheaper, and then they're more sustainable for everyone. Because unfortunately, at the moment, to be living fully sustainable life, you actually have to have quite a big income, at least to start with, to kind of build up, to be able to afford to make your house, completely eco-friendly, and to get all the stuff that you need to be eco-friendly. It actually costs lots of money. So we need to make this mainstream enough that everyone can afford it. And I think we're working towards it. And with the help of some of our richer friends, that can become quite mainstream actually in the next few years. So fingers crossed. We are evolving as a humanity for the better, and kindness will rule the world, and compassion. I can actually now, being a mother and being lots of parenting groups and stuff, I can see the shift as well, the way we bring our children up, and I think that will make a lot of difference in the next few years. And the next generations, I think, will be very good for this planet, and I have lots of hope for our young ones. I know some people don't agree with me, but that's okay. I don't need you to. But I think our youngsters are better than we think, and we don't read about those that are making positive changes. They are taking interest in politics. They are taking to the streets to try to change things. We tend to read about those who are a bit lost and stabbing each other in the streets, but they are actually the minority, and most of our young ones are actually amazing. And I have lots of hope for this world, and I hope I will be on this planet for quite a bit longer to see all the positive changes. So yeah, as I said, more in a chapter. So do have a read. The book is available on Amazon, both in digital and paper version. And speak soon.